What's up, y'all? It's Jeremiah with MoArk Outdoors, and today we're going to be going over kind of a fun and exciting topic about turkey hunting, and a topic that gets a lot of people jammed up and something that a lot of people really don't know how to handle. But today we're going to be talking about why are all the turkeys that I'm hunting seem to get hung up. Well, there's quite a few different reasons why turkeys could be getting hung up, but a lot of them you can prevent yourself. And this is something that's taken a long time for me to learn, but it's something that if you really think about it while you're on a turkey instead of letting the excitement overload you, I think this is something that a lot of people can learn from and hopefully make you more successful and kill more birds. But anyways, reason number one is going to be setup. When you are setting up on a turkey, there's so much that comes into play that you need to think about. And sometimes you can't help it, sometimes you can. And if you're on a private piece of property or you're on a piece of public that you've hunted all the time, you know the terrain features. But if you're in a new place, you might not, which a mapping tool such as I use Onyx, and that's super helpful when it comes to looking at your location and trying to figure out the best way to set up on a bird. But a lot of times, guys, even with the best location that you can be in, barriers, natural barriers. You can be setting up on the other side of a natural or man-made barrier, and that is going to cause turkeys to hang up. And I know this has been preached on and preached on and preached on. Creeks, fences, but really anything can be a natural barrier. Depending on how fired up a turkey is, a downed tree can be a natural barrier. It might only be 25 yards long, but turkeys don't care. Sometimes if they're walking straight into that, and I've watched this happen, that barrier, they just so happen to walk into that. If they're 30, 40 yards to the right, they might have kept on coming. But they walk up to that, and they get there, and it's like they think for a minute, and they're like, okay, this is my stopping point. So that one, that's harder to prevent. But your man-made and your natural barriers that you know are there, like creeks, bluffs, fences, buildings, anything. Try to avoid setting up on the other side of that. Even if that means you got to go a little further and maybe set up on the other side of the turkey in a less advantageous position, you are more likely to get that bird to come. I've seen birds that you're in the field that they've strutted in every day for 7 days in a row before season. You set up on the edge of that field, they fly down, you start calling. They get in the fence row, where it's kind of open, they start strutting, they might not cross, even with decoys. I have watched that happen. So try your best to either stay quiet until they cross it, or get on the other side of it. I will give you a little example. A couple years ago, I had a bird hammering, and unfortunately, we heard another one gobbling. We set up in the field with him. And this is probably my fault too. I don't hunt a lot of field birds, but it is what it is. We set up in the field, and it turned out to be a jake that was gobbling. He flies down. I'm like, great. So the gobbler is across the fence that's separating the field from the timber, probably 50 yards. Call him up to the fence. He's so fired up. Double gobble, triple gobble, double gobble, triple gobble. I mean, fired up. But when he gets to that fence, it's like he had a mental breakdown. He slowly stopped, less and less gobbling, less and less. And you'd think with a jake in the field, he'd come in and be like, what's up, No. Slowed down, nothing. Stops gobbling, crosses the fence, goes and joins the jake. They peck and eat and walk out of the field, out of our lives. So just remember those barriers, even if you can call them across it, it really can mess with the turkey. Okay, number two happens before the setup. This is the biggest one of all. And for you timber hunters, you probably know what I'm talking about. But before the setup, you locate a bird. And everybody's guilty of it, but call into that bird as you're going towards them. So they hear a hen, and when you're striking birds, it's inevitable, because sometimes they ain't going to gobble at a crow or an owl or whatever you're doing. Sometimes you got to call at them. You're walking down a ridge, and you let out a big cut and yelp, and you hear, oh, 300 yards down the ridge, okay? You don't know exactly where he's at. So you're like, well, we got to keep calling, keep tabs on him. So you walk another 100 yards, and you call. He gobbles back. You walk another 100 yards. You're getting close, maybe another 50 yards. You call one more time. You're trying to figure him out, trying to figure out the best setup. And you think, boy, this is perfect. He's hammering. He's going to come. But this is something y'all got to remember. You just told that bird that I'm a hen. I'm calling, looking for a gobbler. You gobbled, and now I'm walking to you. And that will stab you in the back more times than I can possibly count. And the reason this one strikes me so hard is because I've done it so many times. And a little extra to this, if they're on the limb and you've located them, and you call to them, you're trying to pinpoint them, you're like, he gobbled this way, I can't really tell where he's at. So you're calling to this bird, and he's still in the tree. And you're calling, and you're like, okay, this ain't close enough. I don't like this setup at all. I'm going to move closer. Then you start calling to him from there. You're teaching him the same thing. Well, this hen's coming to me. Well, when they're in the tree, a lot of times, I have seen it multiple times, including my first hunt by myself. I actually blew a bird off the roost because of this, because I thought he was on the ground on the other side of a deep, steep ridge. Nope, he was on my side, still in the tree. They will wait on the limb to see that hen walk up, and they'll go, oh, there she is, and pitch down on her. And as a hunter, that's something that you've got to avoid. And I know everybody thinks, I ain't going to do that. Trust me, it's possible. The last thing with hung up gobblers and what you might be causing personally as a hang up is listen. When you are setting up on a bird, and let's say he's on the end of a ridge, and he's in a strut zone area, okay? And you set up, you're calling to him, he's in that strut zone. It's not technically a hang up per se, but a higher percentage of the time, you are going to do better to stay completely silent and get in his bubble on his little strut zone. And listen to the way he gobbles if he's real fired up. And he might tell you, okay, I'm dropping off a little bit here, I ain't going to be able to see you. But a lot of times what guys are doing is they're firing him up on a strut zone, and he's going to stay. If you know one strut zone and he's been there gobbling for a while, your best bet is, instead of you making your setup like that and start just ripping to him 150 yards away, either wait for him to work off of it or sneak up to it while he's still going good. But you get to 150 yards and start calling to that bird in a strut zone, good luck. Because they like the area, they ain't going to come out of it. In nature, the hen always goes to the top. So anyways, guys, that's just 3 little tips on how to help yourself to prevent hang-ups that they're bound to happen. It happens all the time. But those are just some tips to prevent hang-ups. I hope that helps y'all. Guys, this is Jeremiah with MoArk Outdoors, signing out.